If you're looking for the latest rumors around the Washington football team, you're in the right place. To make sure that you don't miss anything the entire offseason, I mean, let's face it, training camp right around the corner. What I want you to do is look underneath the video right now, and I want you to hit that big red button that says subscribe, because what we're going to be doing on this show and tons of shows the entire offseason and in the regular season is walking you through the latest news and rumors. Steven Sims Jr., is he on his way out for the Washington football team? ESPN released an article about players that could be on the roster bubble heading into training camp, and essentially what they did was they picked one player from each 32 teams and decided to cut one guy. The player that they decided to get rid of, or could actually be on the roster bubble, is Sims Jr. If Washington decides to do that, you're going to be able to save $850K. The team signed Curtis Samuel during free agency, drafted Brown at a UNC, but in terms of being able to use him, he's really only going to be utilized on special teams. So if he can find a roster spot, it's going to be on special teams. In terms of where does he fit on this wide receiver depth chart, I mean, I've said this before, maybe not on this show, but on some other chat sports shows, that Washington has one of the sneakiest offenses in the entire league. You have a great ascending receiver in Terry McLaurin. You have a freaking speedster with Curtis Samuel. You have Brown, who I really liked coming out of North Carolina. Adam Humphries as well. I mean, you're talking about four really reliable receivers. Plus, Gandy Golden was one of my favorite young receivers out of Liberty in this past year's or 2 years draft. Harmon is halfway decent. I mean, there's a lot of depth here, which is kind of a difficult situation for Sims. It's not a bad situation for Washington, but it's a bad situation for Sims. So here's what ESPN had to say on potentially moving on from Steven Sims Jr. There are a few receivers who could be in this spot, but Sims has been the most productive of the players who are in trouble. Sims had 23 catches in the final 5 weeks of the 2019 season, creating separation with short field quickness. He had 34 grabs overall and entered 2020 as Washington's top slot receiver. But injuries and drops hurt him last season. He dropped 3 balls on 39 targets, including some in key situations. Washington then signed Adam Humphries and drafted Dax Millen to play in the slot. Sims can return punts, but there are concerns about ball security there as well. Sims still looks quick, but has an uphill battle in Washington. So his first 2 seasons, this is the numbers that you're looking at here. 2019, 34 grabs, 310 yards. This past season, the touchdowns go down, the receptions go down, the drops go up, receiving yards down. Essentially what Washington did was they tried to really boost up that entire offense because you know the defense is there. Heck, I'd make the argument that they have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the entire National Football League. And now if their offense can take that next step, that's what you're hoping to see. In terms of what are his chances of making this roster, I'm going to simply say the only chance he has is if it's on special teams, whether that is returning kicks or whether him being able to literally just fly down the field and make a tackle. Because when you look at the depth of this Washington receiving depth chart, I mean, it's too talented to leave a guy like Sims Jr. on this team here. So what do y'all think? Will Sims make the roster? As I choke up here as I'm getting almost done, I want you to type your Y for yes, or I want you to type your N for no. He's a good player. He's had some success here on this team, but there's just too much talent there. That's why I'm going to go ahead and type my N for no.